All right, guys, today we're going to go over the Contacts tab within Lead Connector. So in order to get started, you're going to click Contacts on the left, and you're going to see a Contacts tab that has a lot of information in it. We're going to go over the top of the screen here. The smart lists, those allow us to be able to quickly and easily sort. You can see the all smart list is currently the one that's selected. As we add or remove lists, you're going to be able to quickly sort by selecting the headings that will show up in this blank space. We'll show you that in just a minute. You can see the bulk actions tab, which is going to show us any actions that are taken in aggregate. So if we're importing, exporting, doing an operation where we're sending a message to a bunch of people, things like that. We're going to restore operations, things that have happened where you say deleted a contact. You can come back in here and get it back. Specific tasks that need to happen, you can add those here and have that description happen. You click on new task. We're going to call it a test task, test description, and then who it's assigned to. Select the contact. Contact is, we're going to say that I'm going to grab my contact. You have to have an employee to assign it to, but you'd assign that, hit save. And then you'll see that this comes up as a test task, which is, let me just divert here for a second. I find these to be really useful. Put those on the dashboard, and then you can see now under the task pane, you have task, and you can divide that on all the tasks, completed, pending, by due dates if they're in here, and keep track of them. You want to check it off. Boom, that task is now done. So when you come back into the task area under contacts, you'll see that this has been marked as pending, right? And then you'll be able to go in and eventually check off and delete that. You can add companies in order to do things for categorization. I'm just going to go ahead and do this right here real quick to get a test company added. And then the company is already in here and ready to go. So if you go under the main contact screen, I already imported a contact, put myself in here. And you can see that you have the actual contact. You've got some little widgets that are here, the general info. And from here, you can edit all of these fields, set at the time zone. This is important for making sure things are set up for automation so they go out at a client time zone. Any additional values and fields that you have in your system will show up here. I find it best to use this hide empty field checkbox so that anything that doesn't have data, you can quickly sort through and you're not inundated with a ton of fields from every form ever in the system for contacts that may or may not need it. You can expand tags to be able to see, add or remove tags. If we don't have any tags in here, but if you start typing one, they'll come up listed. This one comes up with a plus sign letting me know it's not here, but we can click that, and that plus sign is going to go ahead and add the test tag. And now you can see that this tag has been added to the contact, and you'll need to save. Otherwise, you can hit the X, and it's going to remove it, in which case you'll also need to save. If you're currently in any active campaigns or workflows, if you're not, you can add them. You can say we want to add them to the follow-up workflow and to start on a specific date. Click add, and then they'll show up down here. Opportunities, the same thing, to see if you're tracking them in any opportunity pipeline. If they have any offers selected, we got the platform onboarding, right? Add it there, hit save. As you can see, that's fired off an automation for me. It's automatically sent all the info for logging in and setting everything up to get that offer. D&D channels, do not disturb. This is the do not contact, right? D&D all channels, we'll turn it off for everything. Email, you won't send emails. Text message, you won't send text message. Calls and voicemails, you won't do those. The system will automatically be smart enough to know that if it's present in any of those automations and they've requested not to be disturbed, it will prevent them from doing that action within the automation that you set up. assigned to, that's going to allow you to pull a drop down of employees, which we have none connected to this location, in which case they would show up here to be the default for those things. This little button will automatically send a call to the phone number that's listed, 867-5309 would get called if I click this button using the dialer that is on board within the Lead Connector system. This middle pane is your central contact area. So everything that's sent or received from this specific client profile is going to show up here. So you can do your SMS messages, and we can type a message in, add and use tags. You're able to add and use emojis, or you can set up a template if you have templates already set up, and use the template. It'll automatically boom insert all the information. Email is the same deal, right? You can go ahead and set it up for the user. Will automatically populate here. It'll give you the name, the email. It'll give the subject that you're going to type in, and allow you to type in your message right here. You can, add images, photos, all that kind of stuff. You guys know how to send an email, and then boom, click send. If there's a call that's generated, you'll see call log details that will show up here as well. If you've got call recording turned on, whenever the conversation is taking place through the system, you'll see call recording options here, and you'll get a little play button. You can play everything right from here. If you have activities, say this user visited a page that you have, you'll see that the page was visited. They submitted forms, surveys, made purchases. All of that information has a running area here. Any tasks that were assigned, as you can see, the task that we assigned earlier is right here, and you can work through and check them off there. Any notes that exist for the client, we can add a new note. So this will follow the contact around if you want to make notes of what their dog's name is, or what you talked about when you had a call, like quick glance type things, details of a deal you're working on. Great spot to be able to keep those types of things. You can either edit or delete. In this case, we're going to delete, and it's going to confirm that. Appointments, we can schedule an appointment right here. If you have this connected to a calendar, right, you can set up what type of a calendar that you want to go to, time zone, date, time slot, give it an appointment title. If you have any other preferences, right, whether it's confirmed or unconfirmed, that kind of thing. You can even quickly have notes for the description, and then you book it, and it'll automatically do what you want to do. And hopefully you have some automations attached to that, like reminder campaigns and that type of thing. But let's go ahead, and we're going to assign, we're going to back out so we don't save any of the changes that we made to the contact. We're going to come back in. I want to assign the tag to this customer. We created the tag of test, so now you can see it came up here without the plus sign. So we add it, and that is all set to go. So once they're set, you're going to want to be able to do some filtering of your contacts, and that filtering is going to happen based on this button here. It filters, you can see the tag now shows test, and we're going to filter by tag just so you guys can see how this works. Most used, like is tag, and we want test tag, right? So it has the test tag. You can also do the tag isn't empty, or it is empty, or select a few different tags in if it has any of those, if it's not a specific tag, right? And then that'll use that logic to determine how this works. So we're going to apply this filter, and as you can see, we're still showing the contact, and we can add additional stuff to it. So if we said, hey, we want to have this tag, and they're in this specific business, or they are in this specific pipeline, or have this specific product or offer, we can use that to divide things out. Just to illustrate our point here, we're going to save this as a smart list, and we're going to call this test tag. So now we have a new smart list at the top to call test tag, and we can swap back and forth between all and test tag. So if let's say we delete that filter, now we don't have anything that we're filtering on. Now, so we're looking for no tags, right? So that it's not telling it to find anything. So that's exactly how it would work. Or if we wanted to actually define that filter, we could say we want anybody that a tag that is not the test tag. Right, so we're going to apply. So as you can see, and then we're going to, so we can either save this as a new. We can say, you know, not test. And then we've made another new one. So these are click tag is test, right? And this is dynamic. So we said, hey, we want, here's a list of every contact in the system. Here's those that have a test tag. Here's those that do not have a test tag, right? So if we said, hey, let's go ahead and edit this contact now, and we take that test tag out, which you can do through automations, and it's a great way of being able to filter people through different segmentations of your audience, right? So we remove that test tag, and then now once we've updated, you'll see that it's no longer under test tag, and now will show up under not test because that tag is not present. But you'll need to spend some time in the filters to get the filters just right, just the way you want them to in order to do segmentation. But it's also a great way to be able to say, hey, I want to take the people who have not done a test. I'm going to select all the records. In this case, it's 1, but it could be 10, 5, 20,000, 10,000, whatever it is. And then we're going to push them into a specific workflow or campaign, or I'm going to send a message to all of them. You know, I would strongly recommend not sending it to all at once if it's a large number, but you can send it to all at once, or you can send it in drip mode, in which case you can give it a time to start, how many go at a time, how often it repeats. So if you say you wanted 20 a day, so you type in 20 for the batch quantity, repeat every day, and then Monday through Sunday, and it starts from between certain hours, and then send, and then the campaign will automatically send between that time. If it doesn't complete it, it'll hold it to the next time slot and then just continue working. Those types of things will show up in your bulk actions. I think that's it. It's everything about how to filter and look through your contacts.